Hello, it's Specimen here with a Ethereal deck guide. This card is pretty crazy. You're going to see it a lot on ladder, I would imagine. It is going to transform the unit on the right into another Ethereal, as long as it's not a demon. And what this means is you've got 2 Ethereals, you play another unit to the right, you've got 3 Ethereals. Your opponent, if they kill 1 Ethereal, you're still going to have 1 to the left. So the only way to counter this is with damage cards like Philippa, where you kill both, or Shoop can do it as well, or you can lock the unit on the right. So if you start finding on the meta, lots of people are playing locks to counter this kind of deck, just run a Purify in this deck. I'm not going to have one in my list at the moment, but that's just something to consider as the meta develops. It's a really nice option to have in a fruits deck because you're going to put a fruits down and you're then going to transform that fruit straight into an ethereal. So you're getting a lot of power potential. You can also use Courant if you're on it to use Ethereal in multiple rounds. So if you use Ethereal round 1, it should pretty much secure it, right? And then you could use Ethereal round 2 in a bleed, go for a short round 3 with cards like Ozreal as well. So it seems like a really nice deck. There's another really interesting card that's new to the game that we're using in this deck, Offering, which is essentially a necromancy with a damage by 1. Now obviously damaging a unit by 1 on your opponent's side could be useful, right? You might finish off a 1 strength unit and then you can play it like a necromancy. But most of the time you're going to use this card on your own fruits. So fruits just becoming really flexible because you can kill your own fruits and then play a unit from your graveyard. And luckily, Monsters has one of the best bronzes, if not the best bronze, apart from maybe Greatswords, in the game. So that's very, very nice that you're able to replay that. Just to touch on a few other cards, there's one other new card in here. Actually, there's 2. There's 3, in fact. We've got the Phantom. This card is just super solid. It buffs by 1 each turn that you don't use the order. And then also if you need that 3 damage, you can just use that 3 damage. Pretty hard to shut down because it's coming in at 6 strength as well. So only obviously Decoction, Parasite, which most decks only have one of those sort of cards that can deal more than 6. This card can be really good for sure. I was watching Freddy and he says he thinks it's pretty much an auto include. So I've whacked it in here too. I'm also using Oberon. Now this is not a devotion deck, so do not use this card turn 1 because it's going to spawn a random Wild Hunt bronze unit and you could hit the devotion boy, the Unail Conqueror, which destroys itself. So there's my fair warning. The main reason we've got this card is just because it can proc Thrive twice. So in round 2 and 3, it's not unbelievable because there's quite a lot of dodgy options. Thanks for follow weird NCPC when I'm not even streaming. That's a bit awkward. So yeah, it's just a nice way of proccing Thrive twice. It can be a little bit awkward because there's some dodgy cards, right? Like the Purify card, like the Rider, like the Unail Conqueror. So it could be really bad, but a lot of the time you're going to hit, like at worst, like a 5 power, and then it's playing for 11, but proccing Thrive twice. So it's pretty damn solid. It's certainly not lighting the world on fire, but I do like it. I'm also using an Aeromancy now. You could just use Raw Decree, but at the moment I'm just experimenting using this card because I think in Monsters it makes a lot of sense because in a short round 3, like in round 1, I want to be able to play my my Agern, and then in a short round 3, I might not have my Ozreal, and this just gives me, you know, a guaranteed way I know I'm going to have my Ozreal. You can also call in Immerus Wrath with it. You can call Parasite and Offering in with it as well. So it is quite flexible. The main reason you want this consistency card though is just so you can Courant through your Ethereal. That is the main objective. So you could just go for all decree, but I've gone for an Aeromancy just to see how I feel it performs in a deck like this. I think it's definitely an amazing card, and I've been using it in a lot of my decks with Portal or with Artifacts. I think it's basically replacing Matter in those sorts of decks. It's a really, really strong card, but Matter could still see play alongside it in fairness too. Up against Uprising, we're going first. Obviously Monsters prefers to go second. We will see how we get on. We are in Pro Ladder, so everyone we're playing finished top 500 last season. So I've got the Necker and I've got the Lavas. I don't need all of this, so let's kick the Necker. You could argue I don't really need the Offering in this opening hand, so I'm going to kick that and I'm going to kick a Drowner. Simple as that. No surprises with my first play here. But we have also got the option of playing the Ethereal quite soon, right? I could just Ethereal the back row. But equally, once I play my Ethereal from hand, I can't use it again, so I maybe don't want to. And you can see that Offering maybe was a bad decision to kick against Northern Realms. They normally do have the answer to these sorts of cards, so the Offering would have been great to keep here. You learn your lesson, right? He's shutting down my stuff pretty well here. Luckily for us, don't forget to use a leader like I normally do. We do have the Drowner, which is obviously the 2 strength Thrive with that bit of movement, so it's helping contribute to our Thrive, but also that little bit of movement seems really good in this meta. Like I said, I'm probably not going to bother playing my Ethereal. I can't shut this down because I don't have dominance, but I'm going to play my Phantom here. No need to flip this. We're not going to play this turn. And this card's just great because it demands an answer, and we get Einsis out of him, which is pretty good. Obviously, I'm a little bit worried here about the fact that he's tempoing ahead of me. But equally, I've still got Egern, Golgat, Ozeril, Wrath as well. So I guess I just play my Goliath first. We've threatened the pass a little bit here too. This gives me access to Striga. I could have Egerned as well, but I think Egern's easier to shut down if I play it now. Just a simple oil would take it. But smoke him out, which is a cool card to see. Striga's going to be really good in future rounds, but it obviously procs the Thrive. I think I'm just going to take it. Maybe I just Egern and pass though. It's definitely possible. Let's just Egern and get out. Obviously Egern, better in my graveyard. It's kind of hairy against Northern Realms. We do get the pass. I think Striga's good to keep against NR, a bit of removal. Most likely I think we're going to push into this next round here as well. I don't really see why not. Pretty much normally the play. Obviously he's sunken a lot of points into that. He Battleboard, he Insist. I don't really agree with his line of play, honestly. He overcommitted quite heavily. I've drawn not amazingly, but luckily the offering is just brilliant for us here. And no sign of a Neuromancy, so this is where it's just so much worse than Royal Decree. If you don't draw it right, you're just wasting provisions. But you also do have the option of playing stuff like Parasite or Offering, or indeed Wrath with it. That's why it's definitely going to be good in like decks where you want to use Heatwave, which by the way I think is great in this meta. An Neuromancy can tech Heatwave, which is really interesting. Obviously you can hit your your scenarios as well if you wanted to go down that route. I think I'm just going to play Ethereal before I play Bruxa. Get this up and running because I'm going to be in this round for a long time. So it's going to transform. Up and away they go. You don't want to lead in with this against NR because Philippa would shut this combo down. He's got his Assault here, probably on a boat. Seems like the flavour of the month. Certainly what I've been playing. On Mr. Reynard Otto. So I could Ozeril and shut this down, right? I think I'm still supposed to probably play my Bruxa though. I can bleed it twice, right? And then we're almost... Once it's played twice, it's in Beast range. We'll just keep this going here. We'll call Beast in as well next. Obviously, always remembering to proc your Ethereal combo. So the Beast isn't going to proc here, so I need to play something to... Oh, he's going to do it for me. What a gentleman. Wow, interestingly enough, I can't actually shut that down just yet, right? But it also gives him dominance. But I'll just play my Aussie. Still. Not forgetting to do that. Obviously, my Striga was mistimed somewhat here. This is just a visual glitch. This is actually an Ethereal. But you can see the power of Wrath as well, right? This card's just about to go off. Obviously, he might have Baron, which would shut my plan down quite a bit. But it seems like we're all good.
Dark clouds gather over Temeria.
Gonna boiling all that. That's all good. Pull that in again. Pull the Wrath in. Great value on that card. I just think a lot of decks are going Tool. That's why I've put it in here. Obviously, he answers back with a Baron. I think it's probably worth the Striga still. I do have the dominance. And we'll shut down that Volunteers there. Okay, so that's the end of the round. What do I have for round 3? I've got Oberon. We get the pass, we get the 2-0. So there's the deck. Hope you enjoyed the video. Nice, short, quick and easy one today. Definitely some things you might want to play around and tweak with it. I was playing Kelly yesterday and struggling. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed it. Ethereal is definitely a great card. There's quite a lot of things you could do with this list and have a little play around with it. Certainly not completely refined, but I'd say it's pretty much there. There's only so much you can really do. Offering is just a great card in this one. And obviously I think having that consistency card, maybe you could just go for all the Kree. But I really like the Wrath. I think you've got Parasite for a bit of removal, as well as Strigger and the Phantom. And yeah, it seems pretty damn good to me, man. It seems pretty damn good. Hope you enjoyed. Subscribe for more. See ya.